Okay, so hi, this is the District Kiwanians Family Committee, and today we present to you the first webinar of the year. How to interact with Kiwanians, because all of us have Kiwanians, and it is very important to know how to talk to them, because they are our adult counterparts, and we can learn a lot from them. And this webinar will hopefully help you not only talk to Kiwanians, but increase your social skills as well. So, my name is Connie Lam, and I am your 2013 through 2014 District Kiwanians Family Chair. And assisting me tonight will be part of the District Kiwanians Family Committee, 5 of us, 5 out of 10. So, first off, we have April Rios from Cal State Fullerton. Secondly, we have Kyle De La Sena from UC Irvine. And thirdly, we have Alfredo Munoz from Cal Poly Pomona. And we have Lorenzo Reyes from Los Medanos College. And lastly, we have Vivian Chu from UC Riverside. So now I'm going to pass the floor off to our first host, Kyle De La Sena.
Hello everyone, my name is Kyle De La Sena and I'm from UC Irvine, and today I'm here to talk about what etiquette that you should follow during meetings, especially when you're meeting with Kiwanians and when you're interacting with adults in general. So first off, you have to be punctual. Being punctual is not only being early to the event, but also making sure that you are dressed properly for the event as well. So it's better to be early than being late, especially if the meeting is in the morning. So let's say that the meeting's at 8 o'clock in the morning, I would usually plan to be there by around 7:30 or 7:45 because that gives me a lot of time to make sure that if something goes wrong, I have enough time to fix it, or like make sure that I can go and fix something before I go to the function. So it's better to be early, and you can, if you're early to the event, you can socialize with your other Kiwanians and then bridge that gap between the two branches. Also, when being punctual also gives the reputation for not only you but also everything that you represent. So make sure that you arrive on time because you are representing yourself, your club, this district, Circle K, and everyone that you're affiliated with. So just make sure of that. And if you do tell an adult or a Kiwanian that you are going to be at a meeting, please make sure that you do show up, because that's going to be really, really bad if you don't show up and they're expecting you to be there. So just make sure that you do show up on time, and also make sure that you intermingle with them at the same time. If you can't make it on time, or if you can't make it at all, make sure you let someone know so that they can adjust their schedule according to the changes as well. Alright, awesome. The flag salute. Okay, so most of us, at the very end of the flag salute, we pause between one nation, pause, under God. Most Kiwanians and adults don't do that. So make sure that when you are doing the flag salute, you just say one nation, under God, because it's going to be really embarrassing if you pause and then you pause after a nation and then everyone else is continuing it, and then you're trying to catch up because they will catch your slip up. So it's just something to be aware of as well. And then secondly, be respectful. You are invited to their meeting. You are going there to listen to all of them present and listen to them talk about the things that they will be taking on for the next couple of weeks. So make sure that you give your full attention to the speakers and also the Kiwanians around, because the Kiwanians invite speakers to talk about their endeavors, their passions for whatever they are passionate for during their meetings. So make sure you give them the full attention, because when Kiwanians or any adults attend your meeting, they're giving their full attention to you, and they're also making sure that they take in what you said during the meeting and absorbing that. So give them the same respect as they give to you when you present your meeting. So just make sure that you are respectful and you are considerate of everyone else around you, and make sure that you are paying attention, even if it's in the morning. I know it's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult, but it's okay. Like, they are really interesting and they're there for you. So it's just show of respect that you are there for them as well. Also, for respect, introduction of governors and lieutenant governors, as etiquette, you should stand up and clap for all of them. It just doesn't apply for all of the Circle K or Kiwanians governors, but also to the lieutenant governors of the Key Club International, Kiwanians district as well, because they are dignitaries of that district and that branch of the Kiwanians family. So it is recognized that they are also there. So just make sure that you also stand up and clap for all the governors and lieutenant governors present. And also make sure that you also do the same thing for the dignitaries of Kiwanians. So Foundation President, Kiwanians International President, Kiwanians governors, and all those dignitaries. And lastly, for patriotic songs, make sure that you know most of them, because it's going to be bad. Usually during the end of their meetings, they're going to sing a patriotic song. Make sure that you know them, or at least like try to know them, because I know like my past Kiwanians always sang towards the end of their meetings, and so that it was kind of sad when I didn't know it. But it's okay if you don't know it. Just don't mouth words that you don't know, because it's going to be more embarrassing. To show respect, just stand there and be respectful. Enjoy what they're singing, because it's better just to be silent and not mess up the words, rather than getting their words mixed up and wrong and making a bad impression on yourself. And lastly, some Kiwanians will do the Hail Kiwanis at the very end. So it's really important that we take that into consideration as well. So that's one thing that we also need to learn. So I can't do it perfectly, but it goes like, Hail Kiwanis International, long may her banner wave over hill and vale, rally around her standards, we will never fail. Kiwanians International, hail, hail, hail. So usually that's what they sing at the very end of their meetings, but it differs with different Kiwanians meetings, so just take that into account as well. And yeah, that's what you should be doing during meetings. So here's Alfredo for the next topic.
Hey everyone, so I'm Alfredo Munoz, and today I'm going to be talking to you about table manners and etiquette. So we're going to start out with proper table setting. So there's a whole thing with proper table setting where there's things about bread and drink and multiples of each utensils. The thing we mean by bread and drink is if you look over to that picture on the left-hand side where they're holding up their hands, making a B and a D. The thing is, the B on the left-hand side means that your bread is going to be on your left, and then the D on the right-hand side means that your drink is on your right. Now there's also multiple utensils at the table in some of these Kiwanians meetings. So if Connie, you can go to the next slide so we can show them. Okay, so as it moves forward, you're going to notice that there's the plate in the center, there's 2 forks on the left, labeled 2 and 3, there's a knife and a few more spoons on the right, there's your napkin on the left-hand side, labeled 1, there's a bread plate, labeled 5 up there with a knife, there's dessert forks and spoons above your plate, labeled number 4, there's 3 cups, 11, 12, and 13, which are for water, wine, and red wine. And then there's also the coffee cup on the end, number 14, which is usually brought out with a dessert. So usually when you're going for a dinner like this, when you sit down, you always take your napkin and you put it on your lap. It's usually not proper etiquette to have it in your hand or have it somewhere other than your lap. And when you need to clean yourself, you bring it up and you clean yourself and then you put it back on your lap. As for the utensils, there can be a lot of them and you might start being confused. But what you do is you work your way from outside to in. So the small fork labeled number 2, it's usually for salad and the first thing that they bring out. On the other end, the bigger spoon labeled number 9 is for any sort of soup that they bring for you. And then as you work your way in, the smaller spoon labeled number 8 is a teaspoon such for coffee and different drinks like that, maybe mixing a little bit of stuff. And then working your way all the way in to number 3 and 7, those are the main utensils for dinner. The fork and the knife, obviously you're going to be using them for cutting and eating, but know that when you're using these utensils, those inside forks and knives can only be used for the main course. If you try to use like one of your other spoons for like the main course of the meal, it's not proper etiquette, and everyone else that knows proper etiquette is going to be looking at you kind of weird with that judgmental kind of stare, and you're going to be like, what? Okay. But yeah, there's also other things that go with using your forks and knives. When you're using them, usually you might be like right-handed or left-handed, so trying to cut with one hand and then switch off your fork and then pick it up and eat it with the same hand, you're usually not supposed to do that. At the beginning of the meal, you choose which hand is for which utensil. So if you use your left hand for your knife and your right hand for your fork, you usually have to stick with that the whole time. If you're switching it off, again, people are going to be giving you awkward stares, and it's going to be kind of weird. And then going on, as you're finishing up your meal, whenever you, at the end, when you're done, what you're supposed to do is put your utensils on top of your plate. At no point in the dinner are you supposed to put the used utensils back on top of the tablecloth. It's bad manners, and it gets like food all over the place, and you're not supposed to do that. So go back to the previous slide, Connie. So again, as I was saying, moving on to the bottom, table manners and etiquette, there's a whole no switching hands. Obviously, you've been taught your whole life not to speak with your mouth full. It continues throughout that you shouldn't be speaking with any sort of food in your mouth. When you're another thing, when you're reaching for stuff across the table, if you see that little that 8x2 diagram of squares at the bottom, and you're sitting at one of those squares, you should only be reaching to the square that is either directly to your right or directly to your left or directly in front of you. If there's food all the way across at the other end, you're not supposed to stand up and like reach over everyone's plates and kind of grab it and take it to yourself. You should be asking other people to pass the things, and it should be passed from one square to the next square to the next square and over until it gets to you. For things like dropped utensils, usually in fancier meetings and such, you're not supposed to actually go down and pick it up and then reuse it or clean it like that. There's no such thing as a 5-second rule for dropping utensils. You really have to kind of just wait until the server comes around and then ask for a new one and say, oh, I've dropped my utensils, I need a new fork, I need a new spoon, I need a new knife, things like that. As I said earlier, your napkin placement also, it goes on top of your lap. Now, if you go to the next one, again, I mentioned the 3 cups for your drinks. One of them is usually for water, and then the other 2, if you're in a more fancier setting or if you're with people that are 21 or older, they have also a red wine glass and a white wine glass. And as well, those shouldn't be like mixed up or separated or anything like that. They should always be on your right hand side. And let's see, when you're eating, try not to drink with food in your mouth, because that is going to leave like food residue inside of the cups and things like that. But besides that, just remember all the placement of all the utensils, that your used utensils should go on your plate, not back on the tablecloth. And besides that, that is all you should really know about table manners and etiquette. So now we're going to pass you on to Vivian Chu.
Hello. So my name is Vivian, and I will be talking about mingling with Kiwanians professionally. So Professionalism 101, your handshake is important. When you first meet a Kiwanian, or when you actually meet anybody in general, the general rule of thumb is to introduce yourself, then proceed to shake the Kiwanian's hand. So Kiwanians actually expect you to shake their hand. So the type of handshake you want to avoid is the dead fish, where someone does not get a firm grip of your palm. You want to go for a firm but not crushing handshake, because if you crush their hand, it may come off as overpowering, and the Kiwanian may receive an intimidating vibe from you. So when you shake a Kiwanian's hand, be sure that your thumb is placed behind your hand, have a firm grip, shake 3 times because that is the norm, and do not forget to smile and make eye contact. So next is respect. So definitely treat your Kiwanian with the respect that they deserve. We have to look at Kiwanians as adults because they are adults after all, and they are our superior branch. So you can be friends with the Kiwanians. However, you must remember that there is a fine line that you can cross, and you do want to leave a professional impression of yourself so that they respect you the way you respect them. So with that being said, you do not want to approach a Kiwanian and say, "Hey, what up, dog?" Rather, you should approach them with a "hello, how is your day going?" kind of introduction, and that will actually get a conversation started from what I have experienced. So get to know your Kiwanians on a professional level through respect, and then you can befriend them. So next is fear, and fear is a pretty broad subject. So what do I mean by fear? You could be afraid of approaching a Kiwanian, or maybe you are afraid that you have nothing to say, but you don't want to insult them. The first piece of advice I can give you is that just don't be afraid to talk to your Kiwanians, because they are there for you. And it's a fact that it is just as foreign for them to talk to Circle K members as it is for Circle K members to talk to Kiwanians. So even though we are supposed to be keeping a professional attitude, at the same time, you don't want to sell yourself short and be proud of who you are and your club when you mingle with them. So with this being said, if you are the awkward type, or if the Kiwanian is doing all the talking, or if you honestly do not know what to say, something you can just do is laugh it off. Kiwanians love it. They love it when you laugh at their jokes and stories. So from experience, laughing it off seems to get Kiwanians to like you very well. However, you don't want to overdo it. So a suggestion is to laugh when they are laughing or when the situation is laughable. Another thing you can do is, if you don't know what to say, is pull a friend over and introduce them to the Kiwanian. So you could be like, "Hey, meet my friend Connie." Then you can slowly weave your way out of the conversation so that you no longer have to talk to them. Or if you are in charge of an event, you can wait for them to finish talking because that's mannerism, and then you can proceed to say, "I'm sorry for cutting you short, but I really have to check on how many waters you have left," for example. Then you should walk away quickly to make it believable so that they don't feel like you're trying to get away from them. There are Kiwanians that can be pretty shy too, so if that's the case, then it's your job to initiate a conversation. So you don't want to come on too strong. What I mean by that is you wouldn't tell that shy Kiwanian about your personal life right away unless he or she asks. Or you wouldn't ask them if they were going to finish eating the food on the plate unless you were offering to throw it away for them. So an important thing to remember about fear is just that the Kiwanians are eventually going to be your friends. So don't be afraid to mingle with them, and I can guarantee that you will enjoy it 99% of the time. So now I'm going to talk about maintaining eye contact. So maintaining eye contact is vital because it develops that personal connection and lets the Kiwanian know that you are paying attention to them. So there isn't really much to say about this part, but a suggestion I can give you if you have problems maintaining eye contact is you could just look at their forehead when you talk to them. Or you could just practice, by looking at yourself in the mirror or asking a friend to help you. Then you also do not want to use slang. So some Kiwanians are actually very old and will not understand what you are saying. So like, yeah, that's kind of like self-explanatory. And there are also Kiwanians that are updated with slang. But even if they are updated with the slang and you are aware of that, that is not really an excuse to be calling them your homie. So you want to address a Kiwanian properly. Some prefer to be called their first name, but you should definitely ask them before you call them their first name. Or the best way to find out if you're not sure whether or not you should ask is to listen to what other people are calling them before jumping to a first name basis. So it's not on here, but along with no slang, you also want to limit your hand movements when speaking to Kiwanians. Because hand movements come off as jittery, so you don't want to be bouncing all over the place when speaking to a Kiwanian because they want to just focus on you, not like you overall, if that makes sense. And do not, and I repeat, do not interrupt the Kiwanian when he or she is speaking. Wait for them to finish talking, then proceed to respond because that shows mannerism. So if you were trying to invite a Kiwanian to one of your events, you want to also remember to clarify with each other afterwards so that both sides have a clear understanding of what will be happening. And lastly, with that, you should be responsive, which means you have to plan ahead and you have to be organized. So if you're planning an event, or if you're planning to invite your Kiwanis to an event, you should have all the details in order and be sure they know how to contact you ahead of time. So an option you can do is make business cards with your name, professional email, and phone number. And some Kiwanis will even have business cards to give to you. If your Kiwanis tries to contact you, get back to them as soon as possible so that they are not confused on where to go or what is happening. And you should also check your email often because like they will be sending you emails here and there, and they get really frustrated when you don't reply right away. So what you can also do is ask them if they text and if you're allowed to text them because it is a quicker way of communication. However, calling is definitely more professional and highly recommended, but texting ensures that the information will stay in their inbox. Or you could always call them and leave a voicemail with full details to avoid any other frustration. So that is all, and I will be passing this on to April.
Hey guys, I'm April from Cal State Fullerton. I am glad you're here. Connie, can we switch the slide? The first thing I want to mention, I'm going to be talking about mingling with Kiwanians casually. So the first thing I want to mention that even though you are comfortable with your Kiwanians and you have, by this point or at a certain event it's more casual, don't show up with a sloppy shirt that says a profanity on it. Make sure that you look good. You don't want to make them believe that you don't care about them, and show them respect, please. Because again, they are our elders, and we have to show them that we respect them. Another thing is that you should be well-rounded. Don't talk about things you don't know too much about, or I mean, you can talk about them, but make sure not to make things up because you will end up embarrassed. And stay away from heavy topics such as politics, religion, money, because those conversations get very uncomfortable, and you don't want to do that. And don't avoid saying the word old, just because in one situation or another it might become offensive. So just don't use that word, or stay away from it. And the first thing you should do as well when you get to a Kiwanis event is to mingle. You don't want to stay with the same group of people the entire time, because if you do that, you won't be able to meet all the other Kiwanians. And it's very important that you not only meet one or two or three, but you meet as many as you can, because that's always fun. When you talk to them, I know certain people have a difficulty finding something to talk about. So some of the questions you can ask involve their careers. It gets them talking for a little while. Their families is a really big one because the Kiwanians are very proud of their children, just like I think anyone would be. So if you talk to them, ask them about their kids, where they went to school, what they studied. Same thing with them. Another big one is to ask them about why they joined Kiwanis or how they joined Kiwanis. That's always very interesting to hear because you kind of find out like, oh, we have this in common, or we like the same thing. Obviously, we all like service, and that's why we're here, but there are certain things that you just you find when you talk to them like that. And I found out that one of my Kiwanians likes similar music that I do, so jazz, for example, or stuff like that. It's just when you find something in common, it's much easier to talk to them about it. So keep that going until you find something in common. You can go on forever. You can also ask them if they were in the Kiwanis family before, or if they're in any other service type organization, such as the Lions Club or Rotary. Their hobbies, where they grew up, their college, their major, stuff like that. And if you need help, like Vivian said, you can make up a polite excuse, but make sure it's not rude or anything like that. And once you're close enough to your Kiwanian, they will allow you to give hugs. So just don't welcome them with a hug first thing you do. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Be friendly. It's always a great thing when you come up to them and smile because they are a little intimidated by us sometimes as we are by them. So just make sure to be friendly and keep that smile going. And be talkative, be responsive, and have fun because that's one of the main things they want to do. They don't want to be rigid all the time. They want to have fun and let loose with you. So let them do that and you do the same. But just watch yourself. All right, I'm going to pass it on to Lorenzo now.
Oh, hello? Okay, so hi everybody, I'm Lorenzo, and I will be talking about interaction with Kiwanis electronically, mostly through Facebook, because I feel like that's a really important thing to talk about. So when you're going to add Kiwanians on Facebook, when you first add them or they add you, remember to greet them on their wall, leave them a message, say hello, like say something about a conversation you had, it was nice to meet them, and stuff like that. And another thing, a major thing, is appropriate statuses and pictures. So when you do have Kiwanians as Facebook friends, you should consider what you post on your profile. Like some statuses and pictures Kiwanians may find offensive. So it's really important to be aware of how what you post can come off as. So you just need to be Kiwanis conscious. This is really important because they know you as Circle K members, so it is a reflection of you as a Circle K-er, maybe your club, the district, and all of that. So yeah, be sure to consider what you're posting before you post anything because Kiwanians may be offensive. Sorry, I already said that. Sometimes Kiwanians might even go through your pictures to see what you've been up to. Depending on what your Kiwanians or who your Kiwanians are, they may leave a comment on your pictures. So you should go through your old pictures and edit them, or even your old statuses, just in case you think that they shouldn't see anything. And another thing to remember, if you don't want to have to edit a bunch of things, is just make sure you fix your privacy settings so that Kiwanians, you could block them from your pictures, block them from seeing your statuses, and all of that, and that would be a lot easier. I'll also be just touching up on sending emails and phone calls and texts because those are pretty simple. When you're sending emails, make sure you use proper grammar, make it so that it's to the point, the Kiwanians will understand. And yeah, make sure you double check when you're sending an email. That's a major problem I have when I'm sending emails is I'll forget to attach a document that I say is in the email, and then I have to send it again. So a really important thing to remember when you're sending emails is to double check them. Just make sure you have everything correct as it should be. Phone calls and texts. Be sure to, Vivian talked about phone calls. Leave a voicemail. That's really professional. And text, do not text them unless they text you first or they say you can. So you could text Kiwanians first, I guess, if you're really cool and you're just, you have a personal relationship with them and they say, oh yeah, you could text me, then you could text Kiwanians first. Do I have anything else? Oh, also for emails, and even with Facebook, is do not spam your Kiwanians, because if they're not responsive to one form of communication, you should find another form that they may be more responsive to. And for Facebook, I think it's really fun to have Kiwanians on Facebook, even though you do have to be conscious of what you post. Is you get to know Kiwanians more personal because you don't get to spend too much time with them at meetings and such. So you get to, I don't know, you can look at their pictures, see what their life is like, and you just learn more about them. You see what interests them, what they post, and things like that. So it's Facebook, having Kiwanians on Facebook, it's like a nice way to get to know them. And I'm done.
Hi everyone, so this is Connie, and now we are going to move right into questions and answers. As of right now, we're having a few technical difficulties, as in my client is completely frozen. So I can't see any of your questions, but my committee can definitely see your questions. So if you're directing any questions towards me, I can't see them. So please direct them towards the committee. It is open question and answer floor. So if you have any questions about anything that was just presented, please ask right now, and we will answer.
Hey guys, this is Steven here from SDSU, and I just wanted to make a quick note that if you guys are having questions, or if you guys have any questions on hand, there is that little hand button on the top of the screen, top left-ish, and it says My Status, and you can just click that and it'll raise your hand. When your hand is raised, they'll just show a list on our side, and then we'll just start going down that list. So, yeah, thanks so much. When your hand is raised,
Hi, so to answer the question, what should be on the business card, you should put your name, your professional email, and your phone number.
Hey everyone, so it's Alfredo again. We have a question for the table setting. Is it for all meal events or for extra special dinners? So as you're going through, different Kiwanians have more formal meals than other Kiwanians have, or more formal table sets than others. You may go to some where it's really casual and they're all in kind of like shorts and just a regular t-shirt or something like that. And in those, generally, you'll only have like one fork and a knife and your plate in the middle and like a cup for water or for tea. So generally, it's as it gets more and more formal, like for example, if you're going to be going to a Kiwanis decon or something, that's when they'll have more formal table setting with more utensils and with extra plates and stuff like that. So it's just really the formality of the event.
Okay, this is Steven, and to Derek, your question was if a Kiwanian says maybe an offensive joke, something, maybe a racial slur or a sexist remark, something like that. Really, it depends on the situation. I mean, if they're there to just kind of joke around and if they're super lighthearted, you can just kind of tell by the tone of their voice, just based on how they're talking to you. And if you guys are like getting along, I mean, it's okay to laugh at that if you find it funny. It's not like you can like know what's funny or not to yourself and decide to hold it in. So, I mean, if they're making a joke like that, clearly they had the intention of you laughing at it. So it's okay to laugh at that.
All right, hey guys. So Tim asked, how can I motivate my members to talk to our Kiwanis? So that's a really good question, and it's actually an issue that a lot of different clubs face, and it's totally normal. So one major thing that I have to say about basically having them and motivating them to talk to Kiwanians is, first of all, breaking the kind of that initial barrier. Because a lot of people, it's not that they don't want to talk to Kiwanians, it's just that they don't realize that, you know, they're just people too, and it's not that difficult to talk to them. I think one of the best ways to really get to know them is to work alongside them through a service project. Because when you're at a service project, you know, the environment's a lot different. It's not a meeting. Things are a little bit less formal. And it's just a really nice way of getting to know each other through working in like a physical environment. And I think it provides an environment where you don't have to be extra professional or carrying on exactly how you carry yourself. But at the same time, it's just a nice way to really bond with the Kiwanians on a different level and start to break down kind of that original professional barrier or that fear about, you know, who are they, what are they, and the fact that there are different friend groups. So one major thing is have socials with them, have service projects with them, and I think through that it'll slowly, you know, break down the barrier to the point where people it's not that they'll be more motivated to talk to Kiwanians, it's that they'll see them less Kiwanians and adults and more as, you know, compatriots and friends.
Hey guys, one of you had a question about approaching younger Kiwanis members. It's basically the same thing. Kiwanian is always a Kiwanian, even if they're younger. Just approach them professionally, but tone it down. Don't be like, I don't know, uptight. I mean, you never are, but just remember that they're people like we are, and it's okay. Just walk up to them, shake their hand, smile, be friendly, ask questions like you would ask a regular Kiwanian, and it will be okay.
Okay, so it's Alfredo again. So Ryan Kim has the question. Let's say hypothetically that a fellow CKIer is being unintentionally rude to a Kiwanian. How should we approach that situation? Cut them off or wait for them to finish and pull them off to the side? For the most part, when you notice that one of your fellow CKIers is being rude to a Kiwanian, you should kind of go up and just kind of pretend, be like, oh, hey, we really need help over here. Is it okay if I take so-and-so CKIer with me because we're trying to get this thing done really quick. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we really need him. Stuff like that. Just try to make an excuse to get him pulled aside, and then once you're pulled aside, then that's when you're gonna actually talk to the person and be like, hey, I noticed that you were saying so-and-so. I found out that was being rude to the CKIer, to the Kiwanian, and I feel that you should not be kind of disrespecting the Kiwanian in such manner.
Hi everyone, this is Calvila Sena. James asked if a club cabinet regularly does not go to a Kiwanis meeting and does not tell when the Kiwanis meetings are, how would you get in touch with the Kiwanis? First of all, if it's your sponsoring Kiwanis, that will be a lot easier to contact them because they should have SLP liaison to you. So if that's one case, then you just contact the SLP liaison and just talk to them. If they don't have one, try and find out who their president is because it's very easy because they are sponsoring you, so you should know who your sponsoring Kiwanis club is. And just to find out when their meetings are and let them know when you're going to their Kiwanis meetings. I realize that James here is still in high school and you're in Pasadena, so it might be it might be difficult for you to go to their Kiwanis meetings, especially if they're during your school time. So if SLP liaison is service leadership liaison. Basically, they're a Kiwanian that's assigned to work with all the other branches of the Kiwanis family to just basically like tell them what their Kiwanis club is going to do, and then they're taking in all the information from all their Kiwanis branches as well. So that's what SLP chair is for a Kiwanis. So going back to what I was saying, since James, I know that you're still in high school, it might be difficult for you to attend. So just try and keep in contact with your Kiwanis, like continuously emailing them, continuously contacting them, continuously talking to their president, because they love talking to the key clubbers. Like personally, I came from a division that was very good with contacting their SLPs or their key clubs in general. So that could help as well. And also you can talk to Alfredo Munoz. He's your division's Kiwanis family liaison, so he could help you with that as well. And if you want to keep in contact with them, contact your lieutenant governor for Key Club as well, because they would know who the sponsoring Kiwanis clubs for your area is. So, yeah, if you need any help, anything, please let me know.
All right, this is Stephen again. To Frederick, his question was, are we allowed to present our club updates to the Kiwanians after they're done with their updates? The answer is yes, definitely. You want to try and keep in touch with your Kiwanians, and that would be one of the best ways to do it. So if you have any club updates, I know a lot of the clubs in our area, or my area specifically, actually does that as well. I know key clubs attend nearby Kiwanis meetings, and they also present their club updates. Or you can even save it for a Happy Sad Dollar. I don't know if every Kiwanis club does that around your guys' area. However, you can also just talk with the president beforehand if you attend the meeting early, or just sometime during the meeting, and ask him if that's all right. It really depends on them. If they're tight on schedule, they might not let you, but in most cases, they kind of want to know what's up. They want to know what's going on in your club and maybe even your division. So definitely do the updates with the Kiwanians.
Hi, this is Sang. Frederick asked the question, how can my KFAM chair help to prepare for a Kiwanis takeover? Usually you would contact the club, the Kiwanis club that you are trying to do the takeover for. You would contact their president and email them if there is a date that they are willing to open up for you to go and take over their meeting. And after that, you would also, depending on the club, you would prepare an agenda, or they would prepare one for you. At my club, we made breakfast for our Kiwanians that morning. If you have any other questions, you can just email me or email any one of us. Yes.
Hello, can everyone hear me? Let's see. Can everyone hear me? Yes. Okay. So in addition, this is Ben from UCLA. So in addition to the Kiwanis takeover, some ideas you can also do is like education. Like, for example, you can do Jeopardy, in which you can also make it fun, like make it a fundraiser in which you kind of give facts about like your club, about like the history of Circle K, and then what you do at the end is kind of quiz them, and then what you can do is sort of fine them for anything that they get wrong. So in a way, it's kind of fun. You get to raise money for your club while also at the same time teaching Kiwanians about like your club, because sometimes Kiwanians aren't really up to date with their Circle Ks. So it's a good way to be educational as well.
Hello? Oh, sweet. So K Kim asked, if an ex-Circle K member, a friend, is now a Kiwanis member, should you keep it professional or can you be more friendly with him and her? So I think that's a really good question, because I think that's applicable to, it can be applicable to a lot of us, and I think in our Circle K career it'll happen at one point or another. And I honestly think that it's totally fine to be like, I guess especially more friendly with them, or just kind of keep the relationship about the same. Because in reality, while they are Kiwanians now, and they have a different set of responsibilities, different set of, similar set of ideas, or maybe slightly modified, they are still the same person. I think even they might feel a little bit uncomfortable if you suddenly start acting like differently with them, or anything of that sort. Because, they were your friend first, and of course a Kiwanian second. And in the end, the relationship that we want to aim for with Kiwanians is of course professional, but also breaking down that barrier and getting much more personal with them, to the point where, formalities are aside and we can just be a lot more interactive with them. And so I think that if you have a friend in Kiwanis who was a friend in Circle K beforehand, it's a great opportunity to really interact with them and kind of continue that relationship on, because I'm sure that they wouldn't want to have you change that relationship and make it something completely different or hyper-professional in any way, shape, or form, because it's just a continuation of the relationship from before.
Okay, so the next question was Eve's question, and she says she's a chartering president. Some of her officers have no idea who and what Kiwanis is or are. How should I describe Kiwanians to them, and how would I introduce them to each other? So that's something that Connie's going to answer.
Okay. Hi, can everyone hear me? Actually, you can't answer that because I can't read the chat, so don't answer that. Anyway, so Eve's question was how you can introduce Kiwanians to new members, I believe. So for me, I feel like the best way would be to start out with the basics. So during your club meetings, if you could have like a small section during each of your club meetings, like for example an MD&E corner, and like today we're going to learn about Kiwanians, and then like if you could have a Kiwanian spotlight, like if you could put up a Kiwanis picture and like some facts about that Kiwanian, like this Kiwanian, this is Bob, he likes to race cars, something like that, just so to the new members, like the Kiwanians seem like people and not just like piggy bank. And basic education pieces, for example, like, oh, Circle K is part of the Kiwanis family. These are the branches of the Kiwanis family. And just each meeting, you can build up to like more information. So you start out small. And then if you're trying to look for like other ways outside of club meetings to educate members that are new about Kiwanis, if you have anything like an email digest or a newsletter or anything of that sort, you can put in tidbits of information in that. So it's not just the members who are going to the general meetings that will be getting the information. And not only that, you can like try to incorporate some type of like maybe games like crosswords or like simple puzzles in your, if you have emails or newsletters that like members can play and learn that way. So if you were trying to, I hope that answers your questions about like teaching general members about Kiwanis. If it comes to like having your general members meet Kiwanis, then advertise your meetings. I mean, not your meetings, but the Kiwanis meetings, and try to get your general members to come out and talk to the Kiwanis, because ways that you can make Kiwanis seem more appealing is that you can say that like it's a really good way to network. It's like it might get you internships and jobs in the future. There's a lot of ways to sell Kiwanis to general members if you just go about the right way. And if you have any more questions about that, you can just contact me and I can answer them.
Okay, so next we got Jerry's question about what exactly the Kiwanis Shadow Program is. So what the Kiwanis Shadow Program is, it's either like a key clubber to a Circle K-er or a Circle K-er to a Kiwanian. It's basically you kind of like shadow them for a day or so. You obviously have to talk to them beforehand and say like, you know what, I'm really interested in what you do. I'm really interested in learning what the next level of the Kiwanis family is. So you kind of just tell them that and then ask them, okay, is there any time in your schedule where I could just hang out with you for the whole day and kind of see exactly what it is you do or exactly what it is a Kiwanian does, some sorts like that. And you talk to them about that, and then you'd obviously schedule a date. Then it'd either be a key clubber with a Circle K-er or a Circle K-er with a Kiwanian, and you'd follow them around. And then they'd kind of teach you exactly what it is they do and help you out in that sense. And if all goes well, you might keep in contact after that. Obviously, the Kiwanis Shadow Program is intended to kind of go on for more than just a day and kind of form a mentorship with the different members. So it can kind of help you in that sense, where you'll have a person where you can ask any questions that you feel you don't know the answer to, and they can help you out with. So yeah, that's the Kiwanis Shadow Program.
Hi, this is Sang. Frederick asked, can we invite the Kiwanians to our club meetings and events? Yes, you can invite them. However, they tend to be pretty busy, so it's best to invite them at least a month in advance if you are planning to hold an event and you are inviting them. But you can ask them anytime. It's just that usually they're really busy, so yeah.
Okay, the next question is asked by Kathy, and the question is, sometimes when a Kiwanis member talks to me, I don't understand what they're saying or I cannot hear them clearly. So what should I do in this situation? To answer your question, well, I mean, if you can't hear them, do what you would do if you were talking to anybody else and just say, hey, I didn't quite catch that. Could you say that one more time? Or if you can't understand them at all, in this situation, I would personally just nod and try and nod it off. If you're having difficulty speaking with them, I know it happens to everybody. Some people just speak in a different way or a little bit more muffled, or they just talk in a different way or even have an accent. And so in this situation, if you can't really understand them, if you're really having difficulty and you keep having to say, can you say that one more time, can you say that one more time, just at this point, I would acknowledge the fact that I'm sure that they know that they have an accent or that they're really hard to hear. But I would definitely acknowledge it at that point when you're having so much difficulty that you've reminded them like 4 times to say the thing that they just said one more time, and let them know, hey, I'm just having a little bit of difficulty trying to understand you, stuff like that. And then they should be able to speak in a little bit more emphatic way so that it might make it easier on you. You don't really have to like call them out and say like, hey man, I can't understand what the heck you're saying. You can just be a little bit polite about that, and I'm sure that they're aware of it. So yeah.
Hello? Okay, so Eduardo Sanchez, sorry, this is Lorenzo. So Eduardo Sanchez asked the question, so how exactly do Circle Ks get their Kiwanis advisors? Do they ask Kiwanians personally? Oops, sorry, I lost the question. Wow, okay, I'll just find it. So it was, how do we get Kiwanis advisors, and do they have to be from our Kiwanis sponsor, I believe, if I remember the question correctly. But yes, the advisor does have to be from your sponsor in Kiwanis, and usually you could just they'll assign a Kiwanian to be your advisor. If you don't have one, you should ask for one. And yeah, that's basically it.
Hi, so the question was, will this presentation be online? So as of right now, this is being recorded, but because my client is half frozen, I'm really hoping that after I exit it, it will still record. So the answer will be yes, it will be online if it records. And if it does not record, we'll put minutes online, and we'll also put the Prezi online for everyone to reference. I'm really hoping that the recording will be able to go online, but that will be based on luck and whether or not I can figure out how to unfreeze my webinar clients. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Jonathan. I don't know if someone entered your question already, but Jonathan Kim asks, how do I get a Kiwanis Club sponsor if no local Kiwanis clubs are willing to sponsor any more key clubs in the area? If a local Kiwanis club is willing, however... Okay. Oh, wait, just kidding. April already answered the question. My bad. I'm sorry, I'm awkward. Oh, okay. Just kidding then. Okay, so hi, Jonathan. I'm Kyle. So, just make sure... how do I get a Kiwanis Club sponsor if no local Kiwanis clubs are willing to sponsor any more key clubs in the area? That can be really, really difficult because a key club can technically stand without having a Kiwanis sponsor, but that's very difficult. When I was Lieutenant Governor for Key Club, our district administrator pushed for us to have a sponsoring Kiwanis Club because they give you so much support, especially with financial issues, because most of the things that we go to are cost money, and high schoolers are not usually able to raise that much money. So what I would do if I was in your position, or what I would do is contact your Lieutenant Governor, find out what Kiwanis clubs are around you, because sometimes there are going to be like 4 or 5 Kiwanis clubs around your area, like in my city, in Simi Valley, and then they sponsor different key clubs around the area. So try and find out if there's other Kiwanis clubs that are willing to sponsor your club. And if there aren't, contact the district administrator for Key Club, Ms. Latito Byers, and find out if you can get her help with trying to find out if you can get a sponsor for your club, because it is it's very important you have one, especially with liability issues and financial reasons. So I know that's kind of not vague because there's a lot of factors that go into it. Just make sure to contact your current Lieutenant Governor and first, and see if you can work out anything with your local Kiwanis club. If not, maybe seek help with Ms. Latito, the district administrator for Key Club. So, yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay, hi.
So,
Continue.
oh, okay. Have you talked? I'll contact you later. So, we can talk about it.
Hi, this is Connie. Just letting everyone know that we will be cutting questions off at 9:10. So if you want to get your question in, now is the time. After this, I will be having office hours. I'm not sure how to do it in this client, but I might move it over to Google Hangout. But yeah, if you have any more questions, please ask them before 9:10 because we'll be cutting questions off after that. Thank you.
Okay, so someone asked a question. Oh, hi, I'm Ben. And someone asked the question, how do we get our club members, not necessarily the club officers, to interact more with the Kiwanian members on their own? As we mentioned during the webinar, there's like a few topics that you should always focus on, or in case if you don't remember or you get kind of scared when you approach a Kiwanian. Of course, talking about perhaps like what they did in college, what they did in like when volunteering any service community organizations that they join. You could also talk about their family as well, and also try to find like a common ground. For example, some Kiwanians like to talk about sports a lot, so if you can find a common ground, like if you know about sports and if you can talk about sports with them, that would be great as well. So just basically trying to find a common ground with them, and also just trying to talk about like anything that they did in the past that you can relate to.
Okay, so this is Steven again. Alyssa had a question, and hers is, any help for convincing Kiwanis on why they should sponsor a new Circle K or Key Club in their area? My answer to you would be, if they aren't aware of it already, definitely just go ahead and bring it up to them. First thing you can do is let them, or acknowledge to them, hey, you know, we want to start up a new club. We think it's going to be really successful and really outreach to the people in that local area or that immediate area. If they are already aware that the Kiwanis, or if that Kiwanis club is already aware that we're trying to, or you are trying to set up a new Circle K or Key Club, what you can do is definitely talk to the treasurer. The Kiwanis treasurer does have the budget information on, as far as what is okay for them to spend on a new Circle K or Key Club, and also pitch in some ideas, maybe some fundraising ideas that they could do to help get some money to help sponsor that new Circle K or Key Club. Or alternatively, you can, I am aware that you're an LTG, so as an LTG, you do have access to that divisional budget. So what you can do is maybe host some divisional fundraisers and pitch in some money to help give to that Kiwanis, so the Kiwanis can give that money to sponsor that Circle K or Key Club. So that would definitely be one of the better ideas as far as convincing them. And I think that should answer your question.
Hey, hi, this is Connie again. Just to add on to Steven's a little bit, if the Kiwanis need convincing to start like a CKI or a Key Club, kind of try to turn it back towards them, because a lot of Kiwanis maybe are in it for like trying to make their club look better. So if you say like, oh, if you sponsor a CKI or if you sponsor a Key Club, like we do lots of service hours, and it would make your club look good too. So just kind of try to talk to them as in like, if you sponsor a Circle K or a Key Club, like it would benefit your Kiwanis club as well. Like, oh, if you sponsor a Circle K, all the Circle Kers that come out of college may want to join Kiwanis in the future. Or, hey, if you sponsor a Circle K or a Key Club, then like maybe in the future, like they will want to like promote Kiwanis or something like that. That would make it really appealing to them to start a Circle K or a Key Club. And I want to say now that we are cutting questions off, so any questions that you ask now, you can ask us like through email or at my office hours after this, but all the questions we have right now, we're answering them, and then that will be the end of the webinar. But yeah, thank you. Okay. Hi, everyone. So we are actually going to end the webinar right here. I'm really sorry if we couldn't get to your question, but I'm actually holding office hours right after this. And so I encourage everyone that still has a question to go to that, because I'll be available for like an hour or two to answer any questions you have about the Kiwanis family. And like, it's not even restricted to like this webinar or anything. You can ask me about my life, even though I don't think you want to know about that. So yeah, I'm going to post a link to a Google Hangout on the Facebook event page for this webinar. And if you have any questions, please click that Google Hangout before more than 10 people get in. But thank you everyone so much for coming to the first webinar of the year. And I really hope that you learned a lot from this. And my community thanks you all for coming. And I hope you have fun. But yes, this is the official end to the webinar. And if we can, we will post the recording online. But if not, we will still have the minutes up, and we will have the Prezi up on the district board, on the district website. So yes, thank you for coming, and say your goodbyes, because I'm going to exit this webinar and everyone will be kicked out. Thank you so much. Bye. Bye everyone.